we will have two citizen scientists, two big important groups. So one group will be formed by the citizen scientists who will come with us in the archives and will search the lost movie, yes, and we will help to catalog the undocumented films. And on the other side, we will have the other citizens that may come with information and help us to document even more the production of this movie, or they will come with other stories or testimonies or part of the props from the movies like Tararira, which was filmed in 1936. And the first important thing is to train these people. Why to train them? Because back to 1930s, in the interwar time, there was no digitization. So all movies were on reels. A reel is like between 1 kilo and 2 kilograms. It's very breakable and also inflammable. They have to take a little training in order to know how to treat these reels, how to actually scan when watching the details we will give them in order to search for this movie or in order to catalog and put the information on the list. After the training, we'll actually go into the film archives, right? And what we will do there? Each citizen scientist will have a list of information they have to follow. So for example, we have this picture and we know how the actors look like. So they will have a question. After you see the reel, watch it basically. Do they look, how do they look? How the place looks like? What do you see in the plot? So all these details will be put down on a list, and this is how we'll basically make the cataloging, yeah? We will make a selection and we will see if Tararira will be found. In case we can get lucky, we will digitize this movie and organize with all citizens involved beautiful screening as a premiere. There is an option. We will not get lucky and we cannot find the movie, but we will have the catalogs with the information about other undocumented movies, the possibility of digitizing other movies, and the option, a very beautiful option, to reconstruct Tararira. Why I say to reconstruct? Because we have lots of information about this movie. We have the pictures, we know how the actors look like, we know how they are dressed, we know information about the plot, and then we will get the information from the other citizens through their testimonies. We will put all this information together and we will make another Tararira, probably not 1936, but 2018, let's see. And obviously we will organize a screening and invite the interested public as well as the citizens involved in this. Another part of the project, it's very important for us to document all these steps of searching of this movie. And with help of the citizens, we will film and record them while they will follow these steps. All these little videos will be collected into a documentary which will be screened along with the screening of Tararira. And everybody can, the people involved in this will be able to share their experience, will be able to say what they feel, if they are keen to go further with us in further projects, and so on and so forth. This will be very important for the dissemination part as well. And once we have Tararira either found, either reconstructed, let's see what will happen next.
So basically we'll have several deliverables here. We'll hopefully have Tararira, or possibly several versions or even copies. If not, we will at least have a reconstruction for the public. But the most important part here is all of these lists and catalogues from the scientists. So we will work with the film institutions and with the archives and try to collate this data the way they need it. And then we will have a list of potential candidates for interesting movies. Perhaps we do find an old Charlie Chaplin. The next step then will actually be to start digitizing this stuff. This is like a follow-on project leading on to other projects, other archives, other lost movies.
What makes this a citizen science project? So whenever we thought about citizen science projects at the beginning of this universe, one of the questions was, why do you need to involve citizen scientists? Can't you do this in the traditional research structure? So let me be devil's advocate. Why can't you just hire a bunch of research assistants to do this? Get a grant from some foundation, and like what makes this citizen science?
How many humanities projects do you see on the list here?
Well, just because.
How many people do you see in this group? So there's no funding for things like this, and this is why we need citizen science. There's literally very little money. What we want to do is try to involve people in the archives, get them actually doing a lot of the work. We need the manpower, we need a lot of people to go into the archives, scan all these reels and work together with us. So this is a way that we can do this and get it funded, and actually get it funded, across different cities. The funding from this seed money, let's say, won't get all of this done. This will start the project, get the cataloguing going, get the data assembled, but then we will actually need to probably crowdfund this, or try to pull in some of the partners that we've already got committed and emotionally attached. But the whole point here is it comes down to funding, and it comes down to the manpower, which is not there. And this is why so many of these thousands of movies are not documented.
So you just mentioned a really interesting word there, which is crowdfunding.
Yes.
Can't you crowdfund this from movie buffs and then hire researchers?
Well,
I'm trying to see the differences between, you don't have the money to hire people, so you use citizen scientists, which to me is actually a dangerous thing to do, because there's nothing inherent about your project that makes it citizen science.
Well, I would tend to disagree with you. You're getting people to actually go in there, collect the data, and analyse it. It may come down to what you understand as data, right? But this is data, at least for the core films.
And if you allow me to give a very short explanation, for me, as a filmmaker, it's very important to get these citizens in Buenos Aires connected, because back to 1936, this was a huge event. All people knew about this, all people have memories about this. I don't need experts, I need people that experienced this huge event back to 1936. Maybe they have grandparents who told them stories. Maybe they have a prop, I don't know, maybe they have a glass like this one and they remember it was from the shooting of Tararira. I would love to have this one. And this, any scientist cannot give it to me, but the people in Buenos Aires with stories, because memory of history is very important for this project. Thank you.
I just want to check I understood something. Early on in your talk you mentioned getting citizens to target people who were there at the time, or maybe descendants of people involved. I wondered if you'd check the ethical and privacy issues of that, because if I can paint a grim picture for a moment, imagine a woman who's run away from a very abusive husband or family, and then it turns out she's the great-granddaughter of an actress and everyone's interested in her. It's the last thing she wants. So have you considered issues like that?
Well, the point here is that we're not targeting individuals directly, right?
Oh,
It's
good.
open calls through film associations and so forth.
Yeah.
So we're not going to go knocking on doors. And that's the whole point of involving not just citizens, but the media. It will be like a knock-on effect, just trying to get it out there, get as many people to know about it as possible. And then they should naturally come to it. It doesn't mean they all will.
Great. May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
This is not citizen science, we need citizen historians.
It's still science.
Well, you're saying that historians are not scientists. Yes.
Let me stress the point of motivation and resources once again. I could really imagine myself that a passionate film if aficionado is interested in going to the archives, but you need a huge amount of people that are going to the archives, and how do you empower them so that the archives will let them in, because you mentioned it out, the material is very fragile, and how do you motivate them to stick to the project, because it's not done with an app in quite some minutes. You have to really motivate them for quite a time.
I have already contacted the archives, film archives in Buenos Aires, and I asked the requirements. As I said in the presentation, they have to get a little training before and learn how to deal with these flammable, breakable reels. And this training will be done by the people inside of the archives, because they have the expertise. And as far as I understood, 2 days of information will be enough. Then they will be allowed to go inside and do the research.